Ferrari team principal Frederic Vasseur's communication style in Formula One as head of the Ferrari Racing Division is quite different from that of his predecessors. Can it be seen as confidence or indolence? The French manager does not appear at all disturbed by the disappointing 2025 Formula One season of the Prancing Horse. His is a highly coveted position when results are positive. On the other hand, when expectations are not met, the seat he occupies always feels hot. In fact, it should. With dreams of glory quickly put aside, the head of the sporting department has never lost his composure. The issue is that 2025 was not supposed to be a year of rebuilding, but of consecration, the logical evolutionary step after the previous campaign. Indeed, right after the shakedown of the SF25 single-seater, all the key figures dressed in red made no secret of their goals for the 2025 Formula One championship. The former Alfa Romeo team principal has always sought to explain the reasons behind failures, continuously pushing the Maranello team's resurrection further down the line. After the beatings taken in the first 5 rounds of the championship, the start of the European season was supposed to mark a turning point. Or at least, that was the objective Ferrari clung to through Frederic's words. The Spanish Grand Prix was expected to bring a breakthrough, coinciding with the introduction of the Technical Directive on front-wing flexibility. Ferrari placed disproportionate importance on Technical Directive TD018. More than once, the head of the historic Maranello-based team explained that there was no point in introducing aerodynamic upgrades that could be invalidated by the FIA's directive on front-wing deflection. As widely predicted, the Technical Directive concerning aeroelasticity did not change the on-track hierarchy. No benefit for the Italian team, with McLaren comfortably dominating the Spanish Grand Prix, despite the Circuit de Catalunya-Barcelona not being ideal for the MCL39 car. Wings continue to flex, and the marginal variations in car balance have been managed by teams through setup adjustments. What characterizes all the official statements of the Prancing Horse's team principal is the systematic evasion of the real issues plaguing the 677 project. The SF25's lack of competitiveness is dismissed as the chronic difficulty in bringing the tires into the correct operating window, a car that Frederic Vasseur has described as sensitive because it only delivers maximum performance under specific conditions. And when has this potential ever emerged? In the sprint race in China? In race pace over a few laps? It is clearly too little to consider the SF25 a temperamental project with real potential. Why not just tell it like it is? The Prancing Horse has almost always been uncompetitive from the start. This is clearly the case with the SF25, whose ongoing tweaks reveal the current critical issues of the car. It is time to call Ferrari SF25's problems by their name. The suspension system is the component responsible for maximizing the contact patch between tires and track surface, absorbing surface irregularities and curbs, while simultaneously ensuring the rigidity needed to fully exploit the car's floor. These theoretical premises help us understand the current difficulties facing Ferrari. The interaction between suspension and chassis is fundamental, so are ride heights, a closely related matter. The engineers and technicians in Maranello have carried out a study leading to some modifications in the rear suspension layout, which could help the car perform at its best. In addition to this, there is talk of a new floor that will complete the package. In addition to the updates for the 2025 Formula One car and the preparations for next year's project, Frederic Vasseur also has to manage the difficult moment of Lewis Hamilton. The Briton's highly anticipated move to Ferrari in 2025 was poised to be a fairy tale, a quest for a record 8th world title in the iconic red car, perhaps mirroring the legendary success of Michael Schumacher at Maranello. However, after 9 rounds of the 2025 Formula One season, the reality has been starkly different from the initial hype. Far from a triumphant start, Lewis Hamilton's tenure at Ferrari is being described in grim terms, with some in the Italian media suggesting the love story is already in full crisis. After a disappointing 2024 campaign in which Hamilton was outperformed by his Mercedes teammate George Russell, there had been hope that his blockbuster switch to Ferrari would provide reinvigoration, but the pattern has largely continued. Lewis Hamilton himself called the Spanish Grand Prix his worst ever race, as his 6th-place finish was particularly concerning, notably being overtaken by Nico Hülkenberg in a Sauber late in the race, which is known to be the slowest car on the grid. This poor performance stood in sharp contrast to his teammate Charles Leclerc, who finished on the podium in third place in Spain. The Monegasque driver now holds a significant advantage over his Maranello teammate in Grand Prix results, leading 8-1 after 9 races. Charles Leclerc also sits higher in the drivers' standings, 23 points ahead of Lewis Hamilton. The Italian media has not held back its criticism as results continue to lag. Several factors have been cited as contributing to the 7-time Formula One world champion's difficulties. Some suggest that the transition to an Italian team environment from Anglo-Saxon realities, such as Mercedes and McLaren, presents a challenge due to differing work systems. The lack of a consistently winning car is also a factor. Difficulties adapting to the Ferrari simulator compared to the Mercedes one have also been mentioned. Additionally, an apparent struggle to gel with his current race engineer Riccardo Adami, including tense radio exchanges and poor communication or strategic decisions, has been noted as a cause for concern. 7 insiders have highlighted a lack of a genuine connection with his engineer and suggested the Briton hasn't found his comfort zone since his sprint race win at the Shanghai International Circuit in China. Given this trajectory, questions are now arising about Lewis Hamilton's future at Ferrari and in Formula One. The situation is being compared to that of 4-time world champion Alain Prost, who joined the Italian side at the peak of his career in 1990 but was fired less than 2 years later. Sources note that Alain Prost's dismissal followed a buildup of negative comments about the car, internal politics, and mishandling of the Italian media, parallels that Lewis Hamilton is starting to encounter. Despite the fact that a split before the significant regulation changes in 2026 would seem rather illogical, the disappointing start to his career in Maranello has raised the possibility of an infamous Ferrari sacking if results do not improve. The question of whether Lewis Hamilton himself might consider retirement has also been posed. With his move to Ferrari proving to be more of a nightmare than a dream, thus far, the next several races are being viewed as critical. The Canadian Grand Prix at the Gilles Villeneuve circuit, a track where Lewis Hamilton has historically excelled, is highlighted as a key opportunity. If he has another difficult weekend like the one encountered at the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona, it could signal deeper issues, as the pressure is mounting for a significant change in fortune. At this juncture, sources suggest Ferrari needs to back Charles Leclerc, who is seen as the driver controlling the Maranello team's future and the one they can rely on. Lewis Hamilton remains without a Grand Prix podium after 9 races with the Italian team, with Charles Leclerc having claimed 3. Having been left despondent by his performance in Spain, the 7-time Formula One world champion this week returns to the scene of his first Formula One victory in Canada in need of a momentum-changing display. The Briton has claimed 6 pole positions and 7 F1 victories in Canada, the last coming in 2019, and the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve could prove the perfect place to get the 40-year-old back on track.